What's up, everyone? On today's video, we're taking a map tour of Ocean County, New Jersey. We're going to cover a couple of things like the location, school districts, and a few others. But before we get started, if it's your first time to the channel, my name is Stephen Cutchin, and I'm a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway. On the Live in Central New Jersey channel, we cover everything related to the Central Jersey real estate market. So if you're really the first one to know what's going on in your Monmouth or Ocean County real estate, feel free to click the bell, hit the subscribe button. Let's get this video started. Alright guys, so the majority of the video here is going to be done now on the computer, and we're going to just screen share with you, kind of walk you through a bunch of things and just go from there. So the first thing we're going to want to cover is going to be the location of Ocean County. As you see, I have it outlined right here, and this is going to be the outline of Jersey. Kind of see it a little bit, comes inside right there, goes up north or there, back down to New York, and then obviously then the rest of the outline. It's a little hard to see in that northwestern part, but New Jersey is not the biggest state in the world, but we are the most densely populated, so we have a lot of people in a smaller area. When it comes to Ocean County, though, this is actually going to be the largest county in all of New Jersey. This is going to be when you make up land and water, so about 30% of the water, 30% of the makeup of Ocean County is going to be ocean or water in some sort. So it's not the biggest by land, but it is the biggest overall, coming at 915 square miles. Population is going to be about 659,000 people, and it's been growing on average about 1% over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years or so. So really, it's becoming much more populated where before. As you can see, obviously there's a lot of greenery in here. A lot of this land also too is going to be, you can't build upon. You have the Pine Barrens in there. You got Jackson Township up here in the Northwest also has a bunch of undeveloped land that you can't build on. So this northern part of Ocean County, you see, that's probably where a bulk of the population is going to be coming from. But a lot of people have also gone a little farther south into that Barnegat, Stafford area, Long Beach Island, and LBI. More people are staying there year round than what used to be, which used to be just a destination place. But so again, the majority of the population is going to be pretty much Jackson, Lakewood, Brick, Point Pleasant, and Toms River. Once you go a little farther south, there is still, people living there, but it's just not as densely populated up there. The Jersey Shore is also a major selling point to living in Ocean County, whereas we have 40 miles of beaches here and about 140 miles of coastline. So a great destination place. Point Pleasant and Seaside are probably going to be the two most popular and touristy areas. But then if you want to go a little bit more private, Lavalette's really nice. Again, I mentioned Long Beach Island down there. It's touristy, but also private at the same time. The people aren't going to be on top of you, whereas sometimes with Point Pleasant and Seaside, because of the arcades, mini golf, rides, Point Pleasant even has an aquarium. You got the boardwalk with games. It can get a little bit too much for some people, so that's why some of those other private beaches are a little bit better. But it's overall, it's a really nice location. I actually live in Brick myself, so I'm part of Ocean County now. I grew up in Monmouth, but I moved down here a little bit cheaper. We'll kind of get to that a little bit later on, and helps the budget out a little bit too. So never a bad thing. The next thing I'm going to want to cover is going to be the commuting with Ocean County. We'll zoom out real fast. See, you got Philadelphia to the west. You also have New York to the north. There's going to be three main ways you can get into New York City. The first one's going to be driving yourself. The second one will be taking the train, and the third one will be taking the bus. With the bus, that's going to be more accessible pretty much all throughout Ocean County. But if you're taking the train, it's actually only going to go to, where's the photo there? There we go. The farthest destination they have is going to be Bayhead. This is going to be the North Jersey coastline. That's going to go all the way north, Independence Station. But the first one we're going to start with is just driving yourself. Now I'm doing this late at night, so as you can see, if I left now, it says it from Toms River. I'll use this as a focal point because this is one of the pretty much in the middle of Ocean County, one of the more densely populated areas. So for Toms River, this is about an hour and 22 minutes to get into New York City. That's obviously going to be with zero traffic, nothing in your way, and if you're just driving pretty much 80 up the Garden State Parkway. So if you leave by, let's change that real fast, gonna be out of time for that. There we go. Right, so it's pretty late when I'm doing this video. If we left tomorrow morning, when this video is coming out, say just 7 o'clock, typical rush hour time, that hour and 22 goes to an hour and 30, probably on the bright side, to over almost 2 hours, 2.5 hours realistically. So I would say 2 hours is probably your sweet spot. You're probably looking closer to 2:15 because obviously during rush hour, more cars on the road, better chance for an accident. If the weather's kind of crappy that day, it's all going to depend. But realistically, most of the ride is actually very smooth. So this is going to be the Garden State Parkway, this main track right here that brings you north to south. It's going to be one of our two major highways here in New Jersey. We have that and the New Jersey Turnpike. That's going to be on the eastern or the western side of of New Jersey. Both of them are going to be toll roads, and they actually intersect right around here up north, and depending on which one you're going to take afterwards. But to get to New York City, you're going to be taking the Garden State Parkway. That's going to be your main one. You also have the bus. If you take the bus, that's also going to take that same route. So it's the most direct way. It's the easiest way. There's not going to be any lights on there. You can, like I said before, you can go 80 miles per hour on there pretty much easily. Make sure you're in the left lane at that point at least. But It's the smoothest ride you're going to have, and the majority of it, the traffic's just going to be right as soon as you hit like that Newark Airport part when you start to see the bridges getting into New York City. I mean, that's pretty much where the majority of it is. So it might take you, let's just say, an hour to get from Tom's River to Newark Airport, and then all of a sudden this last track right here, maybe it's a couple, I don't know, 20 miles at the most, 15 miles. That's going to take you that extra hour, hour and a half, which can on your like that weighs on people. I feel like more than anything else. So that smooth ride isn't too bad, but when you're sitting at stop and go traffic, stop and go, people are honking, trying to get you out of the way. That can be a little bit more annoying and stressful on your commute. So driving to New York City, you're looking at about hour and a half. At the best part, I would really say it's probably closer to two. Is probably going to be your best point, and then up to 2.5 hours. The other option, like I said, would be taking the train. That's going to run you. So I'm just from Point Pleasant specifically, 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours, 2 hours. So anywhere in that 2 hours and 15-minute ride from Point Pleasant all the way into New York City. That's going to drop you off in the Penn Station area. So from Bayhead, maybe add an extra 5-10 minutes onto that, and you're looking at about like 2 hours and 15 minutes total. Not a terrible commute if you're going to do it. The prices, I'm kind of in the way of my photo, but the prices are going to be right here. So if you took the monthly pass, you're going to the city every single day. From Point Pleasant, it costs you about $552 to get there for the entire month. So that's about a little over $6,000 if you were to commute there for the entire year, which you're just gonna have to add into your budget. If you are to drive, though, I would say that taking the tolls all the way up, they don't hit you too bad in the southern portion, so like that Ocean and Monmouth County area, but the more northern part of New Jersey, getting to New York, that's where you're gonna get hit pretty heavy with the tolls. And if you're driving, more likely than not, it's probably gonna be a little bit more expensive. Then the last option is going to be taking the bus. They have it an hour 20 here on a new transit. Highly doubt that, as we just saw, it would take you an hour and a half minimum to just drive yourself. Even if they had an express lane, which you really don't have in that part of the Garden State Parkway, it's not going to matter. It's going to take you at least 2 hours, I would say, to get to the city regardless. Even with the bus, don't matter. They have it as a one-way fare looking at about $22. So it seems like the train will probably be the best option versus taking at least the most economic and probably, theoretically, least amount of traffic, right? There's only going to be so many trains on the same line. So I don't use the train too often, so I really can't speak for it. Obviously, a lot of people are going to complain about it anytime it breaks down, but majority of the time, at least from what my friends tell me, it's really not too bad to be taking the train into the city. So if I was to take that option, I would say that you're best, but it's also going to depend on the more northern part of Ocean County, right? Once you really get past Tom's River, if you go kind of back to this map, I don't think it's really too worth going into the city. Go past Tom's River, you're looking at 2 hours and 45 minutes, 3 hours. That's a ridiculous commute time to add to an 8-hour workday. So I really don't think that's possible. So Tom's River is pretty much where I would cut off if I was going to be commuting into New York City. The other option would be commuting into Philadelphia. So there's going to be a couple different routes that you can take depending on where you're located. If you're in the more northern part up here, your best option probably taking Route 195 going west to the Turnpike and taking that south. If you're a little farther south into that, again, Tom's River, Berkeley, Barnegat, somewhere in here, maybe take 72 to Route 70. You just hop on Route 70 right away, and it just takes you out west pretty much all the way into Philadelphia. That's probably going to be your best option there. In terms of commute times, it has it down for an hour and 15 minutes. If you were to take which route there on this one? So as you're taking Route 70 all the way over. Now, this is also going to be, again, I'm making this late at night. So if we depart at tomorrow morning, kind of just give you the idea of a difference again. So right now, it's an hour 15 to an hour 30. If you depart at 7 a.m., that bumps it up to an hour 20 to 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I would say, again, sweet spot wise, you're probably looking about like an hour 45. I live in that northern part of Brick, like I mentioned before. For me to get from there to Philadelphia Airport, I've left at like 6 o'clock, 6:15 before, somewhere in that range. And it usually takes me about an hour and 15 minutes to get there. So, and that's in the northern part of Brick, kind of close to like 195-ish. So that takes an hour and 15. If there's a little bit more traffic that day for, Route 70 might be a little bit more congested. So that's why that could take a little bit longer. I prefer Route 195. There's no lights on that road. It also would bring it then to the Turnpike. Again, no lights, just make your life a little bit easier. So either way, hour 45 is probably gonna be a little bit easier to commute, in my opinion, to Philadelphia than it was New York City if you live in Ocean County. But you can get to New York City if you're going to be in that more northern part of Ocean County. So Jackson, Brick, Point Pleasant, and Tom's River, pretty much my top four, I would say. Next thing I want to cover is going to be the school systems. I got a few of these. Now, when it comes to living in Ocean County, there's a few good school systems. You got Point Pleasant Beach and Point Pleasant Borough going to be ranked in the top 3. You got Southern Regional, also a pretty decent sized district. And those are going to be the only 3, at least according to niche.com, that are going to be rated an A. This has an A-. And as you go down a little farther, Tom's River comes in at 6. This is going to be the biggest district by far. They have 3 high schools, I think 3 middle schools, and about like 12 elementary. that houses over 14,000 students, so it's a pretty large one. They have it as a B. Manchester's a B, Jackson's a B plus. So they're not bad school districts by any means, but if you see my other video on Monmouth County, you'll realize that the top 10 schools or 10 school districts are all going to be rated in an A. So there's a little bit of a discrepancy in that one, with the home prices being a little bit greater in Monmouth County. Obviously, there's more funds available to make those schools a little bit more attractive. Ocean County is a little bit cheaper, so you're not getting as much money on that end. But regardless, it's still pretty good school systems. You really can't go wrong. But if you're looking for a little bit something a little bit more, I don't know, exclusive is a bad word, but something a little bit more prestigious or just a little bit better of a grade, it's almost harder to find a bad school district in Monmouth County versus if you're in Ocean County. Some of them can get a little dicey if you get a little bit farther down the list. But realistically, the bigger towns like I've named, Toms River, Point Pleasant, Jackson, they're all good to be going to school with, no complaints there. But for the most part, and if you want to go private schools, we can check those out real quick, or just individual schools. They have the Marine Academy and Technology in here, Ocean County Christian Academy, Donovan Catholic. So there's a couple good Catholic schools here as well. They're also going to be ranked pretty highly. The number one public middle school is going to be Memorial. This is going to be in Point Pleasant. So just a couple different ones here. But in terms of districts, if you're going to look at Monmouth County and Ocean County, those are the two that we cover here on this channel. I would stick with Monmouth County over Ocean, not by a ton, but it kind of makes sense too, right? So people that are going to be working in New York City and then living in Monmouth, there's going to be a lot more opportunity there. So the home is going to be priced higher. Again, taxes go up. They're going to have just a little bit more funding in their schools available to them versus Ocean County, whereas there's going to be a little bit less commuting from New York City. So not everyone's going to be hovering around that area specifically. So, but again, they're really not bad. It's just it just doesn't rank as highly as Monmouth would. Next, I'm going to want to cover is the housing options. So the first thing I want to definitely check into is going to be just the prices all alone. If you see my Monmouth County one, that is about $650,000 to $655,000 right now for the median sales price. Ocean County is only $440,000, so a big drop off in terms of just a regular home. And this is going to range anywhere from a adult community, condos, townhomes, single families. It really doesn't matter. They're just going to be cheaper than they're going to be in Monmouth County. But that doesn't mean they're cheap, because this is still going to be higher than the median national sales price across the entire US. And as you can see, prices have also increased just under 13% from year over year, or at least to this point, year to date, from 2023 into 2024. These homes are also going to be down. So just in total number of sales currently. So we're down 5.5% from 2023 into 2024. And if you remember, I don't know if you've been watching the channel for a while, if you're new to it, in 2023, we had like record low sales pretty much all the way down to about 2008 levels pretty much. So we're not faring pretty well on that end either. The inventory is going to be lower. So if you hear anyone saying that the housing market isn't doing great, maybe they're talking about the total number of sales, but unfortunately prices are also going up because we don't have a ton available. Now it also comes to Ocean County. I mentioned that we have the three main ones: condos, townhomes, single families. Because of the price points, like I just mentioned, adult communities are heavily, listed, I guess I would want to say, heavily, like the inventory in Ocean County is going to be more geared towards that. So there's a decent amount of retirement communities. The population there is pretty solid. So we did Ocean County here. We have a total of 1,725 listings currently active. But just hit adult communities 55 plus, it's about a third of them, maybe like, I don't know, 25%, just somewhere in that range, 25-30%. That's a pretty good number. The majority of them are going to be bunched up here in Toms River, Manchester, Lakehurst. There's a large quantity right there. You're going to have something called Holiday City. They have a couple different like complexes or subdivisions. That's probably the best word to describe it. And they own like a very much a good amount of land right in there. They're not priced too bad either. Most of the adult communities here, they don't top out too high. I mean, they go pretty low too at the same time. So you have these $49,000 mobile homes. Go the opposite route. The highest one listed is down in Barnegat, which is a little farther south, and that's for $897,000. The other ones, they're all pretty much under 8. And you keep going down. Not too many, by the 20th one, you're already in the 600K range, or under the 600K range. So they're very affordable townhomes or single family communities down here, especially for people that are looking to retire. And it's a good area because of that. Your taxes are cheaper in Ocean County than they're going to be in Monmouth again. You're going to have lower home prices. So it's an overall just easier cost of living. I've read somewhere that Ocean County's median home income is just about like $87,000, $90,000, somewhere in that range. And if you're able to live off that, it's going to be a little bit better than living in Monmouth County, where it's obviously going to be much higher. I think the median home income is
well into the 100K mark somewhere over there. So it's a good area. Again, I love living here, but we do have adult communities that are going to be prevalent. Same thing with condos and townhomes. So condos of that 1,700, not too many, about 136 right now, and a lot of them are going to be along the beach side. Is that really it? That's crazy. Wow. And single family is going to make up the rest of the bulk. You got over 1,000 on that one. That's crazy. The condos and townhomes are so little. And you saw most of them are going to be in that Seaside Heights, Seaside, Lavalette, like that area right there. That's pretty nuts. The other part is probably going to be up in this brick area. So it's a good location too. I live there. But on the price point side, obviously, you have your more expensive ones. You got your beachfront properties along the Jersey Shore. You got this one listed at 13 million. It's going to sit there a little longer than something that's going to be listed a lot lower. But and then you're also going to have on the flip side, these are just for single family homes. You're going to have these that are going to be your mobile homes, but just take them out real fast. Say about what, 175. I just do 200. No one's doing a single family home less than 200. There we go. Most of these are going to be ones you're going to be fixed up anyway, but kind of give you an idea of something that's going to be more move-in ready. I think 315 Little Egg. It might actually be. That's pretty far south. Yeah, this one's more move-in ready. Wow. It's kind of give you an idea. So that could be possible that you're going pretty far south. So with Little Egg Harbor, I'm saying you're in the like most southern tip of Ocean County down here. So the farther south you go, the cheaper the houses also going to get at the same time. So your more expensive properties are going to be in that Jackson, Point Pleasant, Toms River, Brick area, especially along the shore right here. Seaside and Lavalette, I think definitely get pretty expensive. The farther south you go, the cheaper it does get. I think that also has to again play into that a little bit of there's not as many people come from New York City that are going to be working and commuting that far. So your population that's going to be wanting to go there is going to be a little bit less than it is going to be in, North Jersey, Middlesex, Monmouth County, like those areas right there. You're pretty much going to have most people that are either commuting to Philadelphia, people that are retired, or people that find work in the local area too, like myself. So there's not going to be as many, a larger demographic, I say, in for that as there would be going a little bit farther north. And on top of that too, again, you have a lot of land that's not going to be able to be was that English? Was that not gonna be able to be developed down there in Ocean County? So there's only gonna be so many homes, I guess, available too. So the population growth can only exceed so far. But like I said, it is growing, and I think a large chunk of that is because people don't want to pay the same price that they would a little bit farther north. And I could understand why. It's a little bit more annoying here in Jersey, getting harder to afford. Another big thing though, too, on top of the cost of living is going to be just the weather habits. So being, 30% water for Ocean County, there are some times that you're gonna have to deal with flood insurance if you're along this East Coast over here. Lavalette, Seaside, a lot of these beach towns. But even if you go a little bit farther west, like into Brick, like you got Anchorage, Silverton, like places over here, you're gonna have to deal with this too. So it's not like just a what's a good way to put that? So dealing with flood insurance, it's not just going to be just those main beach towns. It can go be a little bit farther inland. It's just going to depend on the flood zone. That's you could really just plug it into FEMA and they're going to be able to fix or find that for you. Basically, plug in your address and let you know if you need flood insurance or not. That's going to be a separate policy from your homeowners, and not everyone's going to carry that. But obviously, if you live on the more western side of Ocean County, that's not going to come into play, right? If you live in this Jackson Township, Lakewood area, Manchester, Plumstead, that obviously you're not pretty much not going to get flooded over there unless you have a low elevation or live near like a body of water, like a lake or something, or a river or something along those lines. So just got my 2 cents on the housing. It's going to be cheaper than Monmouth County. Taxes are going to be cheaper, so it's a little bit better cost of living, but you might not be able to commute as far, and the school districts so far aren't as prevalent or aren't as good as Monmouth. The next up is going to be the shopping and dining. When it comes to shopping, you have two main ones, in my opinion. You're going to have the Ocean County Mall, and you're going to have the Jackson Premium Outlets. So the outlets, kind of by their name, in Jackson, they're going to be up in this northwestern part, pretty much right off of 195 over here. You're going to have Six Flags Great Adventure and Adventure Crossing. These are kind of just theme parks now. On the Jackson Premium Outlets is going to be pretty much right there. You have about 70 specialty stores. They're going to range anywhere from Nike, Under Armour, Calvin Klein, stores like that, and they're going to be a little bit cheaper because they're coming straight from the store, straight from the actual company, rather than if you go into a third-party vendor like a Dick's Sporting Goods, if you're looking at some Nike clothing or shoes. So it helps you out a little bit, and it's in the more northwestern part. So if you're living in Ocean, it's, you kind of have to be up here. It's actually better if you're going to be living in that Freehold, Millstone, that Monmouth County area to be able to get over there. And then on top of that, you have the Ocean County Mall. That's going to be located in Toms River. not gonna pop up. Where are you at? Here we go. So this big one right here. This is also going to, it's also Hooper Ave. You also have different department stores over there. So you're gonna have Target, Home Depot. I think Lowe's are there too. And there's a bunch of shopping along that road or that strip of road. Those are gonna be your two main ones, but each town's gonna have a little bit. Brick's gonna have a couple different ones off of Brick Boulevard on Route 70. It's a highly densely populated area when it comes to storefronts. Couple different plazas in general, but they're gonna have every big box retailer you can possibly imagine, from Costco, Home Depot, Walmart, Target, and the list goes on and on. So that's another good spot. But again, the population is pretty heavy up there. You go a little farther south, Lacey has a couple areas that you want to go shopping in. They have the ShopRite right there. There's a Lowe's, there's a Home Depot, a Kohl's over there. I don't think there's a Lowe's actually. My apologies. So they have a little bit of strip, and obviously each town's going to have something. There's not going to just be barren or by any means, but if you're looking for the largest part, it's going to be more in that northern section of Ocean County. And when it comes to restaurants, kind of the same thing. There's a couple really good ones up here, in my opinion. It's not popping up for me right now, but you have in Point Pleasant, you got Spanos. That's a really good restaurant. River Rock's really cool too. That's going to be in Brick in the northern part. You're gonna be right on the marina, pretty much right where Point Pleasant and Brick intersect. I think it's just on the other side of the road is Point Pleasant, and the other side is going to be Brick. But you can sit outside, enjoy the boats coming in and out, and it's a really nice spot to be. What else we got over here? I think I've seen any others. If you go down, one of my favorite restaurants actually, I don't know if it's gonna pop up. Probably not. Yeah, so down in LBI, you're gonna have the Black Whale. That's an excellent seafood restaurant. Highly, highly recommend checking them out. It is gonna be a little bit pricey, but it's one of the best in the area. One of the best crab legs I've ever had. Just highly recommend checking them out. If you're in the area, whether it's on vacation, you want to live there, live a little bit farther south, it's worth the drive. I'll sometimes go 45 minutes, me and my wife just going down there. It's a great spot to go. That's just a couple of them. You're really not going to find a bad meal, guys. You have everything from seafood, Italian, really good pizza in a lot of locations. Realistically, most of these towns, especially the short towns, they're going to have a lot more small business kind of restaurants. And some of the other mainland towns or more inland towns, they're going to have more maybe some of the typical chains, I guess, in a sense. So maybe like your Outback Steakhouse or something along those lines. And I don't know why it's the first one came to my mind, but just kind of give you an idea. So anytime you get New Jersey eateries, especially in the Monmouth, Ocean County area, are excellent. You almost have to go out of your way to find a bad meal. So these restaurants, they know they have to be top notch to be able to compete with some of these other ones. So they're going to step up their game quite a bit. And truthfully, I've been a lot of places along the East Coast. I've traveled a lot for sports when I was growing up, and nothing compares to me. I'll go out of state sometimes. You're talking maybe like, I don't know, pick a random state, North Carolina, Florida, or something like that. And I'll ask maybe a local, like, oh, where's a good place to eat? And if they don't give me like a recommended like small business owner, they'll be like, oh, I like the Olive Garden. No disrespect for like Olive Garden, but we have so many good Italian places over here that like it puts it to shame by a mile. So, and I will stand by that. But that's pretty much the majority of things I wanted to cover, right? The location, the commuting to work, whether it's New York City or Philadelphia, schools, housing, shopping and dining. If there's something else that you want to know about Ocean County, feel free to drop it down in the comments below. But that pretty much is going to wrap up most of the video here. And if you're looking to buy in the Ocean County area or sell, feel free to reach out. All my contact information is going to be in the comments and description down below. Whether you're 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, even you're out, guys, it doesn't matter to me. Let's just get you on the right path towards your real estate goals. If you're looking to move to a different part of the Central Jersey area, feel free to check out the 2 videos popping up, and hopefully help you out a little bit too. Have a great day.